welcome back to my channel. My name is Tia, aka Teacup Simmer, and this is another part of our niche series. And we are back in our Lazuli Tribe, where Koanako and Beryl have given birth to our beautiful little Pearl, who has graced our nest and is now old enough to jump out of the nest and allow her mother to maybe have 1 or 2 more children by Beryl before he passes away. So we are in our tribe, our Lazuli tribe, where our huge family, our family of over 72 nichelings, has been compressed down to 10 nichelings with all different cultures and ideas and roles that they feel that they have to play. And it is very interesting for us to see how they kind of play out their stories. We have our giver family with their beautiful little Pearl, who have dedicated their lives to providing food and shelter and a home for all of the other nichelings in the tribe. And we have our beautiful creatures, Israel and Vonku, who are our warriors who take their job of protecting the tribe very seriously and want to make sure that they always have the ability to go forth and protect the tribe from any dangers, hunt for food, any of those things. And we have our travelers over here who are going into the grasses, exploring as far as they can, and then basically clearing out the way for other creatures to follow them. And Topaz and Miyako are getting a little bit older, and they're probably going to want to start a small family of their own, and they're going to be up in these grasses over here, I think, while their children are still going to be young. Vonku over here is protecting the queen, even though because she's kind of had a tendency to kind of run off, because she is part traveler herself, and travelers have a tendency to always move forward, whereas she also is part warrior, and she also tends to recognize that everyone needs to be protected and that everyone should stay as safe as possible, whereas she's not as flighty as some of her traveler cousins. But Onyx is having a little bit difficulty recognizing that some of her friends and her family are going to be leaving her behind. So we're going to end up having to see what she can do about that. She might end up having a baby with Topaz, maybe, just to feel like she has some connection back with her previous culture or with the culture she grew up with. And she is getting older as well. So a lot of our creatures are about around the same age. So we're gonna start having some of them pass away, which is why we're trying to make sure that they at least have a few babies, just to make sure that all of our lines can kind of continue on in their same way, with our giver family having a lot of babies and so on and so forth. And then our little Ripple, oh, I almost forgot about you, love. Our little Ripple over here, who is the one creature who is a little bit more isolated, but doesn't really know what her place is going to be in this tribe. She has kind of hidden herself away because she's a little bit forlorn about it. She's just going to pick her berries a little bit sadly, and hopefully she'll be able to find a place where she belongs. So we're thinking that Vonku is probably going to hear her picking at her berries, and probably very aggressively, as is his nature, to attack the berry bush and come after her, even though she doesn't really know what to think of him. And he's going to be out actually in the open, which is definitely going to be a trial for him. He doesn't really like being out in the open, so he's probably going to paw at the grass to be like, why am I out like this? But he was very interested to see what this other creature was doing over here. And let's see, Israel is very oblivious to her brother, so she's going to keep going out into the grasses to see if she can find any food. She might hear Koanako getting a little bit grouchy about the crabbits again, so she might come out to help with the crabbit situation. Koanako is going to pick up some more of these nuts, and Beryl over here is going to start taking care of the berry bushes. If he can find any that he can get at. He's probably a little bit upset because he's been trying to make sure he can take care of the berry bushes, but it looks like Ripple has picked them clean, which I don't think will endear her to the giver side of the family. Let's see, Brain, unlike her brother, is not really fond of fishing, but she does do it occasionally, and so she's kind of yelling at him to come find this other fish that she seems to have found. Let's see, and he's going to swipe at that. He definitely would not deal with leeches well. All right, so all of our families are a little bit closer together. Onyx is going to be clearing away the area, and look at that, she has found a nest. Oh my goodness. And that's going to be perfect for our little queen. Oh, okay, so we're gonna have Topaz start clearing these out. I definitely think he would start kind of putting his foot down with Miyako being a little bit too ambitious about finding the right area for them to have their baby. Since they're a little bit farther out, they did explore a tad bit more than what the tribe had started with, which is kind of the goal when it comes to a traveler. They always want to make sure that they see something new, see something that no one else has seen before. And so because of that, we're going to probably have Onyx and Miyako have a baby or two. Because Topaz is getting a little bit older, Topaz is the best mate for both of them, so we're probably going to have them mate soon. So let's skip the day. Oh, look at that! Koanako, you seem to have the cutest berbers. Oh my goodness, I and H, he is gorgeous. He's a cute little one. Nuku. He is gray fur. That is interesting, but he's completely moss brown. He's like the opposite of his sister. He's completely moss brown. Let's see. And because of his gray fur, let's name him Stone. So Stone is probably going to be a little bit different from his sister. She is probably going to be considered very precious to her mother because she's pretty much the spitting image, so she's going to be well taken care of. Whereas Stone isn't necessarily going to be as lively or as beautiful necessarily as his sister, but I think he's going to be a little bit more quiet. Not necessarily like his father Beryl. Beryl tends to complain a lot, I think, because he seems to get upset when Ripple picks up all the berries and he wants to be the one to pick them up. Let's see. Koanako is going to come down here so she can look after her baby, but definitely be a little bit upset about the fact that there's a crabbit right next to her family. She's not going to be happy about that, and she's probably going to ask Israel to come down and help her mate take care of it. So Beryl is going to take a few swipes at it. Hopefully it does anything. It doesn't look like it did too much, but I think Israel is going to try her best to get rid of it for Koanako since she's not at all pleased. And it looks like Beryl has 2 days left, so we're going to probably have them breed one more time. Maybe not necessarily have Koanako have her baby immediately since she has a few days, but she might stay pregnant for a little bit while these other two get a little bit older and learn about the ways of taking care of the berry bushes in the area. And Von Q came upon our beautiful little Ripple, and he seems a little bit taken with her, I think, because she's also just as good as hiding in the grass as he is. And I think that because they seem to value stealth in hunting in his culture, I think a creature who is able to blend perfectly into the grass would definitely intrigue him. So I think their genes match up fairly well. They do. And I think hers, yeah, I don't think they have anything to worry about, actually. Yeah, they're fine. So I think she would kind of present him with a berry because of his claws. I don't think he's able actually to actually eat berries that much. So he's going to mate with her. I don't think she's going to have her baby yet. I think she would kind of pull up the grasses around her to make sure that it's a little bit more protected, and basically on Vanku's request because he wants to make sure they can see everything that happens. And then we're going to have Onyx come over here, and she's going to start clearing away the grasses near her nest because she found this perfect nest right near this rock. It's beautiful, actually. And Topaz, I think in the interest of the continuing of the royal line, and because everyone grew up together pretty much, we're gonna have these little ones put down their nests right next to each other. So let's see, let's check their mutation menus. So A and G is her immunities. He has D and E, so they're perfectly fine. He has runner's leg, which is basically the quintessential traveler. They have runner's leg, they have this beautiful pattern, and they have the blue eyes and that crown of ram horns that doesn't matter the color, the differences of color aren't necessarily the biggest deal for them. It's just that the ram horns kind of help them protect themselves as they run through the grasses. Pretty much looks like bullheadedly run through the grasses. And so Onyx, she has antlers, and Topaz has a potential for passing down antlers, and so does Miyako, so that's interesting. But I think I'm gonna put that mask. We're gonna put ram horns in her mutation menu, and we're gonna put that mask down because I don't really want her to pass down stripes. I want her to pass down that mask. And then he has antlers, he has lean body in his mutation menu as well, so does she. So maybe our travelers will end up having lean body, which might actually impact their ability to protect themselves as well. But if we have a few creatures with lean body, that's not necessarily going to hurt us in any way. Yellow fur, beige fur. She has beige fur and moss brown, so this is going to be very interesting. And then we have our Onyx over here, who I think I'm gonna have her put in their mutation menu. We don't have water body, but I don't want her to have lean body, so we're gonna put medium body down. If any of her babies have that, pick up that lean body, we don't really want that. And let's see. I don't think there's anything else we specifically want them to have. We don't have to worry about claw necessarily, because we don't really need her babies to have claw, but we do want to make sure our like warrior children have claw. But considering that Ripple isn't necessarily a warrior, it's mostly going to be coming from Vanku's genes, whether or not they have that claw or not. So we're gonna have Topaz mate with her, and he's going to mate with Miyako. And Miyako, I think, is going to go farther into the grasses and put her nest down, whereas Onyx is going to be over here. And let's see, I think that's everyone, unless the twins. There they are. They're not necessarily twins, but it's kind of, it always happens that way where we have creatures who kind of act like twins, who are always together. Let's see, and we're gonna have these guys move farther down into the water. They always want to stay close together. Ooh, Rain, look at that. She found a shell, which I think she's going to be super happy about finding. She prefers picking up shells to fishing, but she knows that Shark likes looking for fish, and he's a little bit more aggressive when it comes to fishing. So that's going to be his way of finding food and exploring the oceans. So let's see, let's skip the day. So we had 2 babies born in the nest. Oh my gosh. They're like exactly the same. They're like Carnelian. Oh my gosh, she looks so much like Carnelian. That's Rota and Cides. Oh my gosh, they look identical. Except he has lean body. Oh my gosh, they're gorgeous. Let's look at them. So we have Cides, who is a beautiful little one. Bright yellow, look at that. And her blue eyes. And then we have Rota, who is also that bright yellow, but he has that lean body and he has beautiful blue eyes as well. He looks like Carnelian. So I'm going to name him Carnelian because he looks like one of his mother's cousins. So Carnelian, and then Cides, look at her. Oh my gosh, she looks gorgeous. I don't really know what to name her. Oh, I don't know. She's just so pretty. Oh my goodness. We do have a name list. Oh my gosh, why am I haven't used it because I've been going off of like my personal like thoughts about how each creature looked. But we do have a niche name list. If you guys want to submit names for nichelings, please feel free to do so. Currently with the Lazuli Tribe, we try to stick to gem names, ocean names, really exotic names, names mostly about like adventure or water, things like that. Let me think. I don't know, because she has those black ram horns. I wonder if that's going to be I wonder if that would be a sign for them, because she has those beautiful blue eyes, but I have never seen black ram horns before. But that might be a sign that she is very royal, because the black crown is something that Onyx has. Let's go with Iolite, because we had our beautiful Iolite was the one that gave us Lapis, and I think Iolite is a good idea for her because of her blue eyes, and I think Onyx would have definitely taken some of the stories that she heard about Iolite from the children of Lapis and kind of thought of her as a very regal character, because she was one of our first queens of the islands actually. So we have Iolite and Carnelian, and these two were born on the same day, and they look so similar if you look straight at them, but they are going to be a little bit different. Carnelian and I think Iolite, but both are going to have be raised in the traveler way of life, I think, which is going to be very interesting. But I think Onyx is probably going to breed with Topaz one more time, and he's going to come down and pick up some of these berries. Just because he has about 3 days left, he's going to want to see both of his children. And Miyako will be very, very proud of herself. But she's not necessarily too worried about leaving little Carnelian on his own. Vonku would be very surprised by babies, but he would be too worried about hunting to actually see if there's anything that he needed to do. He's probably very, very confused by babies. He's still really young. He still doesn't have any yet. And Ripple probably is still staying here and not having her child until the last possible moment, which is probably bad considering we want to make sure we keep her F gene. But so we're probably going to have her sit down her nest right here while no one's looking, and while the tree is growing back up, kind of concealing her as she has her babies. Pearl is a dainty little thing, and she would probably be showing her brother how to pick up berries, considering she's extremely good at it, or at least that's what Mother says. So Koanako is probably over here telling Beryl to get out of the way so the warrior can handle the crabbit. And Beryl is a good husband, so he listens to his mate. So I think they're going to breed one more time. And I don't think she's gonna have a baby this time. But Ijre, let's see if we can smell over here. There's a mole over here she's probably going for. And let's see, let's check on the little ones in the water. Shark is definitely venturing in the water. This is something, they are all definitely in their element. So hopefully they don't get any leeches while they're down here, so we don't have to worry about any Razorina coming after them. But this, I think, is where we're going to end. We had some beautiful babies born, you guys. We have our Carnelian, who is going to be our fast little one, who's going to be a great traveler with his blue eyes and his lean body. And we're going to have Iolite, who might actually be a great candidate for a new queen. However, I'm not sure how these guys are going to decide their royalty. Onyx was a rare case because Alexandrite was a king of the travelers, and everyone kind of accepted his conquering ways because of how well he followed the rulings or the teachings of Lapis Lazuli. Onyx is not necessarily as devout as her father, and not necessarily as well destined to rule. She just kind of took up the position because it's something that was needed. Whereas there are other creatures here who may be well suited to be rulers, or be well suited to choose who might be rulers. That might be the jobs of our water-bearing creatures. Maybe those who are closest to the ocean, that is the embodiment of our ocean goddess, may be the best people to choose who are going to be the next rulers of the tribe. That should be some very interesting lore that they might pick up. But if you guys have any ideas about how our tribe's lore is going to go, if you think rain or even shark would be the two together would help choose the next ruler of the tribe. Maybe a water body creature always has to be the one to choose the next ruler of the tribe, and maybe they have to leave the young ones close to the shores, and if those who are chosen by the water body creatures will be the ones blessed by the goddess, and those ones who, and the faction those ones come from, have a more likelihood of that faction rising to power. That might be very interesting. So if the warriors rise to power, for example, they may not have to protect everyone else. They may enslave everyone. That might be interesting. They may force everyone to pick all the food for them or hunt for them, while they are able to practice their stealth skills and not have to worry about protecting everyone, depending on who ends up ruling. So this is completely different. We might end up changing how the tribe works, but you guys can let me know what you think. We definitely have some interesting stories starting where we have our two little babies who are probably going to start running off into the grasses together, probably giving Vanku a heart attack as he waits in the grasses to make sure no danger comes their way. Miyako and Topaz are getting a lot older. They were able to explore as much as they wanted to in their very young lives, so they might feel a little bit content with leaving the world. Onyx is also still feels very young, but she did have her beautiful little eyelite and passed down her dark crown of horns that she might be very proud of. And then we have our Giver family over here, who needs probably to have the most number of children just because they need to be able to provide food for the rest of the tribe. Israe is very interested in all these babies, but I don't think she's ready to have babies of her own. Whereas I think our younger ones are definitely getting interested in coming back towards the shore, since there seems to be a lot of things changing in the tribe when they were away. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you're interested in this series, please let me know down in the comments. If you have suggestions for names, please let me know down in the comments as well. If you have ideas for how our tribe is going to function, how their rulingship is going to function, please let me know down in the comments also. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and please subscribe if you really love me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Through the wastelands, through the highways, and